Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, when nothing is working to eliminate the inner conflict and fear, we start to take things in our own hand, right? We start to do our own work to end the struggle. Now, that is the attitude we need to be free within, to be free from the mental struggle, emotional struggle, and psychological struggle. Basically, ending this struggle is spiritual freedom. Now, again, taking things in your own hand and doing the work is the attitude we need. It's the start. But also, we need to know how to end the inner struggle, how to end the fear. Ending the inner struggle and fear means the true freedom. Now, there's a true freedom and that there's a relative freedom, the physical freedom in the world. Now we need to know the difference between what is true freedom, what we need to do to be free within and outside, and also need to know what is the material freedom, how to be free in the world, in the materialistic sense. Now true freedom is about letting go of all the layers, especially all the mental layers, by examining the layers to see the layers that we hold on to is true or not. And the relative freedom is about recognizing the pattern that supports life, and inviting those patterns and conditioning yourself with that pattern to upgrade, to invite stability and freedom, which is the fun. Now, differentiating and understanding, and also understanding how part is important. If the true reference is missing and how part is missing, then the self help we're trying to help ourselves becomes the self sabotage. Life is already full of fear, conflict, struggle, and the effort that you put thinking to free yourself becomes a self sabotage, because this process will make you more righteous, makes you stubborn, especially when you see something is working from the self help. Then that practice separates you from the world. And also, the upgraded experience that you go through leaves the idea in you, and that idea will reinforce in you. You see the truth in it. And now, when it comes to spiritual freedom, ingrained in any ideas itself is an attachment. It's an attachment to the experience of the past. So you have to be careful what the true freedom is all about. The true freedom is about dissolving the mind, letting go of the mind. Now, letting go of the mind is not rejecting, isn't about controlling the mind, isn't about ignoring the mind to be mentally free. Rejecting, resisting, controlling the mind is engaging with the mind. And from that, you're prolonging the mental game. You're allowing the mind, which is the ego, to continue the game. And freedom is about the death of the ego. So Instead of resisting, running away, or controlling the mind, yes, we need the mind in the process to examining the mind, to follow the mind backward, to see to see the nature of the mind, how the mind come into existence, how the mind becomes real and ingrains in us. We need to see that. And from that process, then the the attachment to the mind starts to loosen. So that's the main part of this spiritual freedom, examining the mind. Examining the mind means examining the ego self as well. When you are attached to the mind, that attachment already makes you makes you the egotistical person, which is the ego self. And you're not alone in that journey. Everyone is holding on to the mind, and that is the sign of the ego self. An ego self makes you go through the inner conflict and fear, the struggle. Why? Because the ego is constantly seeking for more and more and more. Aren't you seeking more and more in your life? There is no end to your seeking, isn't it? When there's no end to your seeking, then you have to put the effort in it. Just not putting the effort to invite the upgraded experience. You have to go through the battle with the world, which is another human being, isn't it? There's always conflict, there's always friction. Friction, conflict is what? The struggle. Not just that, the outer struggle becomes the inner struggle, isn't it? The inner struggle prolongs because your ego doesn't want to give up the fight. Your ego wants to win the fight. Most of the time, you want to win the fight, isn't it? Especially when you can dominate the world, that's where the ego wants to run away from the situation. That is less most of the time. More, it's about winning. So even the self-help is coming from the ego self, even to be free from the struggle, free from the inner conflict and fear. The ego is so tired of the inner conflict and fear. Now the ego is trying to be free from the conflict. And ego seeks the spiritual freedom because spiritual freedom is the highest meaning in life. Highest meaning. Now if ego has this belief that getting there is the highest achievement for the ego, highest success for the ego, isn't it? Now take a look at yourself and ask yourself, why are you seeking spiritual freedom? Why are you aligned with the spirituality? Isn't that the highest meaning, highest purpose of life? It is. Spiritual freedom is the highest purpose. Another name for spiritual freedom is associating with the God. God, isn't it? God, idea of God is very complex in the world. So, yes, spiritual freedom is a self-help path. You have to help yourself, and to help yourself, you need to know what you're doing. And the what you need to do is turning the awareness back to yourself. Why? Because the truth is within you, the God essence. Some people like to use this idea. The God essence is within you, which is the truth, unchanging truth, the absolute truth. So you got to turn the awareness back to yourself. Then next step is while watching yourself, then you have to dismantle all the faults in you. All the faults in you is what? The mind. Mind is simply the byproduct of the experience. The mind is your preference. You have a preference. You prolong your preference every day in your life. From the morning you wake up till you go to bed, there's several preference in you. You're maintaining that preference. What is that? The preference is an idea, and you prolong, weave your 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 action with that idea, or the idea makes you act to reinforce that idea further and further in you. So so all ideas are false when it comes to truth. So you need to examine your belief, your preference backward to see your belief is true or not. And all belief is false. Because truth is not a belief. Beliefs are always changing. So how can you say the belief is true? So right now, what I'm saying becomes another idea. To see whether my reference is true or not, you have to walk the way backward. So you have to, do the work. Doing the work is a self-help. And then if you trace your belief backward, and if you see the root cause of maintaining that belief, then a spiritual journey is asking you to let go the belief. And that's where the fear starts to resurface in you. Once you start to see the fear in you by by understanding the reference of the spiritual path, then the inward journey can really start. Why? Because you can now work on your fear. You're starting with the belief. Now you see the root. Now you see the fear, because you have to let go to see the truth. You have to let go to see your true nature in you. You have to let go to see the plain sight. So now the letting go becomes friction in the spiritual journey, isn't it? And if you work further to understand the fear, why the fear resurface in your life, if you investigate your fear, then there's an opportunity to see the plain sight truth, to undo the struggle in your life, to undo the inner conflict and fear. And this is where the people starts to give up the spiritual journey and just align with the superficial spiritual path, which is about relying on the God to do the work for the people. So don't be that person. Don't rely on the God. God made you. If you like the idea of God, then here's the thing: God made you, and the God essence is already in you, and that is the consciousness itself. Consciousness is the key. And you are that. You are consciousness. And the nature of the consciousness is conscious and empty. Your nature is empty but conscious, alive. That is the divine nature in you. So you have to use that to undo all the faults in you. So when you see the fear of letting go, don't give up, and and don't abdicate your responsibility, and rely on the whatever power that you imagine. That kind of uh, attitude is not going to dissolve the inner conflict and fear. Dissolving is is active process. So some of you are associated with the meditation. So when you sit down in the meditation, you know that just sitting down in the meditation doesn't help you to dissolve your fear. It doesn't dissolve the struggle. You know it. When you're sitting down, yeah, you can feel more relaxed. But once you're done with the meditation, you are back in the world. When you are engaging with the world, there's a conflict, there's a fear, there's a struggle, isn't it? So if you are able to sit down in the meditation, you can prolong the self-awareness. What's the next step there? Is inquiry of the mind, dismantling your belief, dismantling the preference. Self-examining is the real self-help. That's the fact. That's the fact. The self-inquiry is seldom present in a person's life. You reflect on yourself. How am I doing a self-inquiry, or I'm just following the world? Don't follow the world. The world is already struggling. Whoever you follow, ask them. They have so much inner struggle and fear. And everything they do comes from the place of fear. And anything that comes from the place of fear is going against the nature of life, going against the nature of one's true nature. So fear always makes you go against your own true nature. So that's why you have to investigate your fear. So don't follow anybody, even me, don't follow, but investigate your life. Investigating your, again, investigating your own belief, your own experience is the way to see the nature of the mind, nature of the experience. And from there, if you are able to be thorough with every aspect of your life, especially where you're attached to emotionally and mentally, if you can look into that, then it will make you thorough. That thorough is a self-help to get closer to the truth. That your thoroughness prepares you. And then when you ask yourself, who am I? That's where you see the truth. That's where the ego in you gives up, because you recognize that the ego cannot comprehend the truth. That's where the ego drops. That's where you give up to rest in the unchanging, the absolute background, which is the consciousness itself. Okay? Now, the true self help is self inquiry. Self inquiry. Okay, I hope this video makes sense to you. You know, if you recognize that your effort is not working, truly not working to eliminate the inner conflict and fear, give self inquiry a chance. Okay? Again, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next. Take care for now.